Thank you, we're good. Thank you, thank you. Hi, welcome, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Board of Education meeting. Today is April 8th, 2025. May I ask everyone to please rise for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first item is our approval of our agenda. May I get a motion, please? Katie, second Jim S. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? 7-0. Next up is our superintendent's report. Mr. Poole.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good evening, everyone. For the first part of my report, as usual, I'm going to turn it over to our student ex officio, Mr. Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Poole. Good evening, educators, administrators, parents, students, and community members. We have had an exciting April thus far, and I cannot wait to share my student report with you all tonight. Congratulations to the class of 2025 valedictorian, Yahoo, and salutatorian, Karen McGuire. These are two truly remarkable individuals who put in the momentous amount of work that it requires to receive such title. Truly, congratulations to the both of them. Now, moving on to sports. Congratulations to Andrew Simino for being named to Newsday's Top 100 Long Island Boys Lacrosse Players. Alongside, we give our congratulations to Grace Kitchen and Reese Marcario for being named to Newsday's Top 100 Long Island Girls Lacrosse Players. In musical news, 16 SWR high school students showcased their musical talents at the 2025 Suffolk County Music Association All-County Concerts. Here at SWR, our Triad Music Honor Society hosted its 8th annual Sweets and Treats musical performance. In addition to a night of enjoyable music, more than 100 non-perishable food items were collected to local food pantries. Last week, the 11th graders attended the Suffolk Theater's production of 12 Angry Men. This was a great experience, especially for members of the theater program, to get an upfront seat and interact with professionals both in front and behind the curtain. Our talented SWR high school theater students performed the curious incident of the dog in the nighttime to the delight of everyone in the audience. Our SWR Community Relations class completed its latest fundraiser that hosted a toiletry drive for the Long Island Lending a Helping Hand charity organization. We received donations from across the district and are grateful to our principals who helped spread the word. And finally, this is something that I'm very excited to report on. The National English Honor Society, something that I founded alongside Abigail Haverty. We had our first official meeting today. Members have been sworn in, or not sworn in, sorry. We are planning our induction ceremony, and I'm very grateful to the board members, Mr. Pugliese and Ms. Wallbauer for really helping me and setting this into motion. Thank you all.
All right, and on with a few other happenings across the school district. Over at the middle school, the 7th and 8th grade music students took a trip to Manhattan. They visited Broadway actors at the Broadway Imagine Workshop, got to hear their stories, and engaged in a lively interview session. One of the actors was in the lead role in Hadestown, which the students attended after a delicious lunch at Dallas Barbecue. 8th grade students attended a 2-day trip last week to Washington, D.C., featuring an exciting tour of the Capitol, the monuments, Arlington National Cemetery. They were there for a wreath-laying ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and a great time was had by both students and staff alike. Thank you to Mr. Van and the Prodell staff for organizing such a successful trip for our students every year. Over at Wading River, the Wading River School Brain Show was a tremendous success on Friday, March 28th. Children and staff and families capped off a week of scientific discovery with special game performances during the day, followed by an evening together highlighting their trivia talents. The Wading River Evening of the Arts will take place this Thursday, April 3rd, starting at 6:15 p.m., where 3rd grade orchestra students will have their first performance. A sensory-friendly time is available for children with special needs starting at 5:45 p.m., and in addition, artwork will be displayed throughout the building with art ambassadors present to help interpret artwork while providing assistance on an art scavenger hunt. The Park Week, they're coming up, can't believe at that time of the school year already. Pick a Reading Partner Week will take place the week of May 12th, with special activities in store for the underwater-themed reading adventure at Wading River. On to Miller Avenue. The annual Miller Avenue Science Fair is tomorrow, April 9th. Very excited to see all the experiments from our students have conducted. Hope all can join us from 6 to 8 p.m. there. Nature Nick paid a visit to Miller Avenue on Monday, April 7th. Compliments and many thanks to the Miller Avenue PTO for funding that. And he shared a variety of animals, local animals, with all the students. Second grade classrooms will continue to visit the one-room schoolhouse during the week, where they will have the opportunity to step back in time and learn how children lived in the 19th century. And Miller Avenue's Park Week, with the theme of Dive Into Reading, is also from May 12th through May 16th. I also want to take a moment to just give a shout out to those that put on the high school play. I want to commend Ms. Heigem, Mr. Botanist, who was in the back, Ms. Ages, and any staff and students that were part of the production of The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, which was really a book probably many of us read back in and around 2003, 2004. Incredibly well done, and I'm not just saying this because I'm the superintendent, worthy of a Broadway stage. The passion and leadership and energy from the performance was evident throughout. I really appreciated the technological innovations. If you were here, the way the stage performance was run, you did feel like you were on Broadway. And then the selection of the play itself was really meaningful, as it created empathy for all of us that watched it, for those, the family, the children, anybody impacted by autism along the way. So I'm certain that all the students involved had an inspirational experience as well, putting on that show and understanding the theme of it. Additionally, almost there, on tonight's agenda, we have the Winter Athletics Recognition, Quill Awards, Poetry Out Loud, Wildcat Paws Newspaper Awards. We have a poetry reading, recognizing our DECA students. I know Middle School Student Council is presenting. Mr. Arcuri is going to give a final budget workshop this evening. And then there's a digital and financial literacy presentation by Mr. Meinster, Dr. Palicelli, Ms. Cosgrove, and Mr. Mancuso. And then finally, also on the agenda is I want to mention, and I know we're going to get a chance to celebrate and recognize everything that Mr. Tom Ward has given to the school district over the last 40 years, and while he was a high school student here in the school district. But on the agenda is, I almost didn't put it on the agenda because I almost refused to accept it, Mr. Tom Ward's retirement. He is the heart and soul of the buildings in this district. The maintenance, he's our MacGyver. He is there at any hour to fix any problem to make sure that our buildings are healthy and safe for students and staff. And he'll be missed, but I know in June we'll have a chance to celebrate him. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Poole. Next up is opportunity for board members. Anyone want to share anything? Okay, moving right along. I think I share the same sentiments as the board. Tonight is one of our favorite nights. It's student and staff recognition. First up, we're going to have our winter athletics with Mr. Bromoff, please, who's our Director of Health, Physical Education, Athletics. And I'd want to invite the board, because he's going to be presenting here, if we want to take a front row seat to this, I think that'd be a great idea. So I'm going to invite us to stand up and go take a front row seat to watch this go through. Mr. Bromoff, welcome.
Welcome. Whoa. Thank you.
Yeah.
Came in a little strong there, I'm sorry. Inside voice. First off, I'd like to thank the Board of Education and Superintendent Poole for inviting me in on this beautiful spring evening to celebrate our winter athletes. Anytime that I begin my presentation when we put forth our student athletes, I always like to begin with one very special slide, and that's this slide right here. I really want to give a shout out to all the coaches, the teachers, the staff members that really make this whole program, the whole athletic program here at Shoreham-Wading River. I would like to give all the staff members a round of applause for working with our kids. When you say recognize student athletes, this slide right here is a depiction of what we're doing out on the field, but it's also what we're doing in the classroom. I am very pleased to report that 100% of our winter teams received a Scholar Athlete Team designation. And that goes along with our fall, which also received 100% Scholar Athlete designation. We're not done yet. The students have to work hard through the spring, but once we get through the spring, I have a feeling that we're going to be 90 and above across the board again, and we will win that coveted School of Distinction Award that we have won for several years in a row now. So we don't have a fencing team housed here at Shoreham-Wading River, but we have a wonderful partnership with Middle Country School District and the Center Reach High School. We have two wonderful fencers that received recognition this year, multiple levels. And I'm going to invite them up. I'm going to call them up one by one. They're going to come up on the stage, and they're going to be applauded by not only us and the board members. And at the end of the presentation tonight, we'll take a photo with all of our student athletes up in the enclave. So Joseph Lasquardo is all league, all county saber, all league all league and all county in the saber. Come on up, Joseph. You get to be the first guy up there. All right. And his partner in crime is going to be Mr. Charles Peterson, who is King Charles, and he is all league, all county. He is the county champion in foil, and he was voted the Fencer's Fencer Award. Can we please give a big hand for our two fencers, Joseph and Charles? Thank you, gentlemen. You can join us in the back. We're going to take a picture once we're done with all the student athletes. You guys can come on down. All right. Once again, thank you to the Middle Country School District for partnering with us and our fencing team.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that. I probably should have said something.
We're going to move into boys basketball. We have 4 award recipients tonight. First up, Zach Mekarevich, League Rookie of the Year. He's joined by Jack McGinnis, All Academic, PAL All-Star Game, and Unsung Hero Award. Dylan McClellan, PAL Senior All-Star Selection. And Tyler Lee Avery, All League, League 6. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you your boys basketball postseason awards recipients. Nice job, guys. Up next is, if there's any representatives of the track team here tonight, you can head up to the stage now. There's 46 of you. I'd like to give a huge round of applause to the coaching staff and the boys winter track team for winning the league championship. Layton's here, all right? To give out some awards, there's a lot. So we're going to go with Luke Tizcan, All League, Frank Valenti, All League, Cameron Sheedy, All League, Kyle Schiff, All League, Patrick Shea, All League, All County, Jarrell Winston, All League, All County, All State, Patrick Moreno, All League, All County, All State. Who's this guy? Leighton Mangimelli. Did I say it right? All right, I went for it. All League, All County, and thank you for representing everybody tonight, as you are also an All-State designation. Logan Jung, All County, County High Jump Champion, All Academic, All County, and we go into Spencer Lee, 3,200 meter champ, All State, All league, all county. We have Michael Hubner in the 600-meter county champ, all league and all state. Your winter track league champions. Up next, we have another league championship team. We have our girls basketball team. If there's any girls here, I think they're all out on the lacrosse field. Is any of them come? All right. Well, we're gonna call them out anyway. In basketball, Grace Kitchen, all league, all conference. Basketball, Annabelle Keegan, all league. Katie Keegan, all league. Alyssa Bell, all league, all conference, all county. Basketball, Charlotte Erb, unsung hero. Morgan Lesowich, all county, academic. Haley Abrams, all county, academic. And coach of the year, Mr. Adam Leavery. Adam's in the back, waiting for his girls to come in from the lacrosse field. We've requested that, Adam, you can take a walk across the stage. So I think he's going to pass on that. All right. But truly, congratulations to the girls basketball team. Moving on to our next set of champions. We have a lot, and they are well represented here tonight. We have our wrestling team. Before I call up the wrestlers, I just want to take a moment to call up the leader of the wrestling program, Coach Joe Condon. Can you come up to the stage, please, and be honored? And I know you all know Coach a lot longer than I have, but he is the most humble man, so I'm going to be very brief, but I don't want to miss the gravity of the awards that he's received this year. Coach got his 300th win during the season this year. And he's been announced to be inducted into the New York State Wrestling Hall of Fame on April 26th. And nothing is going to make Coach happier than when I start sending all these all-county wrestlers up to join him on stage. So, Thomas Matias, all-county, county champion. Bam Bam Bradley Brandt, all-county. Shane Cowan, all-county, county champion. Shane Hall, all-county. Jacob Conti, all-county. Leo Macario, all-county. James Cuomo, all-county. Connor McGelvin, all-county, county champion. Did I leave anybody out? All right, the last time Gavin went up onto a stage, we had to carry him up there. I give you your 2025 New York State champion, Gavin Mangano. In addition to Gavin winning his second state championship, he was honored as the wrestler of the meet up at the New York State Championships. What a gutty performance. I remember before Coach told me, he said, as long as Gavin doesn't get hurt, he's going to win. And then he got hurt and he won anyway. So great job by all the wrestlers. Congratulations. Congratulations, Coach, on the Hall of Fame. All right, for this group, I feel like I should just start playing the song, All I Do Is Win. Your game day county championship followed it up with a Newsday Cheerfest championship. Then they followed that up with a competitive season county championship. And then they followed that up with a New York State championship. So I'm going to introduce, but I have all the members of our cheer team come on up to the stage. And the coaching staff, please. These girls had the season of seasons. They captured the trifecta. We got the game day county championship. We got the Suffolk County Championship, and then we went up and got the New York State Championship. In addition, and I know the coaches are here tonight, Coach Bree was also given Coach of the Year designation. So your 2025 Competitive Cheer State Champions. And if all the athletes could join me up in the auxiliary, we'll take a photo right after this. Cheer girls, you're going to stay up there because I'm going to introduce your postseason awards. Kayla Weingartner, all classification. Alexa Lanahan, all county. Katie Leahy, all county. Lila, am I saying that correctly? I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. Lila, all county. Lila Catallo. Naomi Madrid, all county. Number 8, you're blocking my view there. Nora White, all county academic, and Coach Bree Carling, Coach of the Year. Thank you for that, ladies. Congratulations, girls. I'd just like to thank everybody as we head into the spring season. I know the weather's not an indication, but we've hit the ground running. If you would follow us on Shoreham-Wading River SWR_athletics on Instagram, you can get daily updates. Would all the athletes please join me in the back section for a photograph? And thank you to Mr. Poole and the Board of Education.
Yeah, no, so tell Megan and Jim they can stay over here. Yeah. So we're gonna, we're good, Ricky? Yeah, thank you. We're gonna continue with our meeting. Next up, under student and staff recognitions are our Quill Awards, Poetry Out Loud winners, recognition of our Wildcat Paws Newspaper Awards with Miss Nicole Walbauer, our Director of Humanities. Thank you.
Good evening. Very excited to be here. Thank you to the board, to Mr. Poole, for this opportunity to recognize these talented students. Also, congratulations to all of our athletes. That's quite impressive, our scholar athletes, and Mr. Bramoff, great job. This evening, I'm here to talk about some of our journalism students. Mr. Ball, our journalism advisor, has been doing a fantastic job with these students, and once again, they were able to garner quite a number of awards this year. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the students. Unfortunately, Mr. Ball could not be here, but he had a lot of wonderful things to share. Giovanna Aceto, Lucas Brand, Ayla Copps, and Alyssa Wood are in their second year of Shoreham-Wading River High School's journalism program. As freshmen last year, Mr. Ball said that they quickly proved themselves to be leaders, despite being the youngest students in the class. They're known for taking extra initiative in their reporting, whether it's coordinating meetings on the weekends or to interview subjects, or working hard to come up with that attention-grabbing lead paragraph. When they aren't doing their own reporting, they serve as editors for the Wildcat Paws, SWR's high school newspaper, reviewing stories for publication and sequencing. Thanks to their harmonious collaboration and attention to detail, they were recently awarded third place in the category of Best Newspaper Layout at Adelphi University's Quill Awards, which celebrates excellence in high school journalism across Long Island. Senior Skylar Hunt has quickly proven to be a standout journalist, reporting on the latest news in SWR's theater program department and thoughtfully covering the Thanksgiving Day race, honoring the legacy of Coach Paul Koretsky. When reporting on the latter, Skylar handled the story and its sources with care and sympathy, painting a portrait that thoughtfully honored this well-known pillar of our community. For this reporting, Skylar was awarded Best Sports Story at the Adelphi University's Quill Awards. Congratulations to Skylar on a job well done. So I believe this evening we have a few of the students here this evening to be recognized. So if you are here, Giovanna, Lucas, and Skylar, would you please come up? Oh, congratulations. Mr. Poole, could you take a picture? Oh, here we go. And I wasn't sure if you were here. Here she is. Perfect. Come on up, Skylar.
Skylar, congratulations. That's really awesome.
Can we fit in there? Can I fit? Yeah. Mr. Shaw.
Just take a bit. Oh, no, I guess.
Again, congratulations to our amazing journalists. They won some really beautiful awards at the awards ceremony at Adelphi. And we thank the district also for always allowing us to participate. It's a wonderful event. Okay, so now we have our Poetry Out Loud recognition. So Isabel Sherrill, she is a dynamic whirlwind of creative energy which she channels into her many passions in life: music, science, and the one we are most grateful for, poetry. Mrs. Nazer, our symbols advisor and creative writing teacher, first came to know Isabel 2 years ago when she was a freshman in her English class. Her love for creative writing was apparent even then. But when she joined Symbols and watched her sister, Emily Sherrill, compete in Poetry Out Loud, her passion for poetry recitation was born. Listening to Isabel recite poetry is inspirational. The way she emotes and performs each piece has brought her audiences to tears on several occasions. The Poetry Out Loud judges at Stony Brook University mirrored these sentiments when Isabel won the regional competition in 2024 on her first try. She competed against many other Long Island districts, both Nassau and Suffolk, and put SWR on the map in the poetry recitation world. Isabel then competed at the state level, where she faced the best of the best in New York State at FIT in Manhattan. She placed in the top 5 at that event, an impressive accomplishment for which we couldn't be prouder. At this year's Poetry Out Loud competition, Isabel was the runner-up and continues to move audiences with her enormous talent. It has truly been our privilege to watch Isabel pursue her passion for poetry recitation and be recognized at such a high level for her accomplishments. And we are lucky this evening to have Isabel here. She has agreed to perform for us. So would you please welcome Isabel Sherrill up to the mic. Congratulations.
Hi, so I'll be performing one of my own poems called What Baking Can Do. Of course I want to bake something for school. The gelatinous goop in front of me makes me feel like an alchemist. The mixture of some miscellaneous substances, the vigorous mixing, having to leave it to rest a bit before putting it in or on some sort of heat source that will somehow turn my mixture into something edible, something sweet or salty and hopefully delicious. But somehow, along my journey of mixing in alchemy, something catches my nose. The scent of a certain spice already thrown into the batter, mixed in with my other chemicals. I am suddenly 7 again. Or was I 5? Either way, I'm sitting on my grandma's porch on a spring day so perfect. Sitting next to my sister, we make soup. Looking back on it, I don't think you could necessarily call it soup, considering soup is edible and ours wasn't. Now that felt like alchemy. Stirring random spices found in our grandmother's kitchen, clippings from her plants, fallen petals and dead leaves in paper bowls with plastic spoons. We were culinary artists, racing against some imaginary clock, always competing against each other to see whose soup the various woodland creatures would like better. Coming out from this strong memory, I'm still surrounded by that scent. Was it the ginger? Maybe cloves? Whatever it was, it took me back to a time with no concerns other than whether or not the deer would like my chemical concoction, consisting of a bit of fern, cinnamon, some dandelions, and pumpkin spice. Okay, looking back on it, my grandma probably dumped out the bowls when we left. Not wanting to hurt our feelings, she dumped out the same amount from each. No clear-cut winner was ever crowned. But now, as I look at my dark brown mess, I contemplate how far I've come. I can't remember the exact last time I made some soup. Probably didn't even know it was going to be the last time as I was making it. Actually, I don't think I've ever stopped. I've just tweaked some recipes so that now when I make soup, it comes out as molasses cookies instead of some inedible slop I tried to make presentable. Somewhere, I know that little girl is still in me in some way, excited to mix different flavors and chemicals, no matter the outcome. Just wanting to feel like an alchemist again.
Thank you, Isabel. Before you go, I think we're going to take a picture of you also. What a beautiful memory and a wonderful original poem. Congratulations. You want me to go? Thank you again, and I just want to mention that we will have our second annual Poetry Under the Stars event, April 30th. All of the community is welcome, and I'm sure Isabel will be there, and we're in store for some more beautiful poetry. So thank you.
Thanks again, Ms. Walbauer. That was tremendous. Thanks again, Isabel, and congratulations again, Sky. We're going to continue. Next up on our presentations tonight would be our middle school presentation, Student Council. I'd like to welcome Mr. Kevin Van, our principal of our Prodell Middle School. And do you want to introduce who's here with you? Okay, I'll let you do that. Good to see you, Mr. Van. Yep.
Thank you very much, Board of Education, Mr. Poole, for the opportunity to present our Student Council this year under the direction of Ms. Waldron and Mr. Sicoli. They've done really some outstanding work this year of kind of taking it to a new level, bringing a lot of positivity and a lot of new ideas to the middle school. So we're very grateful to them for that. And at this point, I would like to invite up Mr. Sicoli and Ms. Waldron to introduce their students and talk a little bit about what they've been up to this year.
So just to reiterate what Mr. Van said, we want to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Poole and the Board of Education for inviting us to attend and present at this meeting tonight. Ms. Waldron and myself have been extremely proud of our student council group. That is about 30 students from September to now, and we are even more proud of the 5 students who were recommended to present tonight. They have really exemplified what it means to be a student leader in our building. And without further ado, we will introduce and then show a timeline of the activities and engagements that the students have partaken in throughout this school year.
My name is Ms. Waldron, and I'm one of the club advisors for Student Council.
My name is Colby Brown, and I hold the position of the president.
My name is Brielle Bannon, and I hold the position of vice president.
My name is Cooper Hockmuth, and I hold the position of treasurer for Student Council.
My name is Jacob Coriano, and I'm a member of Student Council.
My name is Kira Holt, and I'm a member of Student Council.
Unity Day is the signature event of National Bullying Prevention Month and continues to grow every year. Through Student Council, we shared anti-bullying flyers around the school in multiple languages to spread awareness. All advisories created positive post-it notes, which Student Council spread throughout our building. On Unity Day, in the lunchroom, students signed a pledge to spread kindness, inclusion, and acceptance. Students received anti-bullying stickers and orange anti-bullying bracelets. Red Ribbon Week focuses on living a drug-free life. One of the most exciting events of this week was the Advisories Anti-Drug Poster Contest. 6th and 7th grade advisories created handmade posters which were displayed throughout the building. 8th grade students created digital posters through Canva, which were displayed on a smart screen in the main lobby. This sent a visible message to everyone who entered the building that we are celebrating a drug-free life. Working with our mental health staff, Student Council collaborated to host this fun Spirit Week with creative activities in the lunchroom. Student Council focuses on events that support all students in our building positively.
Thank you, Kobe. Excellent job.
Student Council hosted the Halloween dance in October for our school. Together, we brainstormed ideas for decorations, flyers, and activities. Students had a blast at the dance with a DJ, photo booth, glow sticks, and more. Money was spent to purchase these items, and students paid $10 to attend the dance. As treasurer, I helped calculate and go over the expenses report with our student council members. The total money spent on the dance was $1,073.89. Through student ticket sales, we raised $1,850. We calculated a profit of $776.11 from the dance. Student council is teaching us how to review expenses, budget, and understand withdrawals, deposits, and our account balance.
Thank you, Cooper.
One way Student Council has positively impacted our school this year is through a cafeteria game card. From personal experience, at the beginning of the year, my friends and I had trouble playing with the games at recess due to missing pieces. In the Student Council, we organized the games and pieces and also set up new games that are purchased with the profit we earned from the Halloween dance. Now, students are seen interacting with each other in the cafeteria, playing Uno, What Do You Meme, and other fun games. This has been a nice addition to our social and downtime in the midst of our busy school day.
Thank you, Brielle.
PS I Love You Day is the second Friday of February each year. The mission is to bring mental health awareness and foster a community where everyone feels welcomed, loved, and supported. Not only was our school involved, but Student Council also partnered with Art Club and the local Starbucks in Wading River to have student-created positive messages on their cups. I personally went to Starbucks twice that day, and I could see how this project brought smiles to people's faces. This was a creative way to highlight this year's PS I Love You Day's message of a brighter tomorrow begins today. PS I Love You Day was pushed out through flyers, parent square, and advisories. We encouraged our school to wear purple to show that you are never alone.
Thank you, Kira. And looking ahead for the rest of the school year,
Our next event for Student Council will be Mental Health Awareness Month in May. This is a relevant topic because mental health struggles are a rising concern for adolescents and teens all over the U.S. We will be implementing building and district-wide activities such as Mindful Mondays, Take Action Tuesdays, Thoughtful Thursdays, and Feel Good Fridays. Plus, we will be wearing green on Wednesdays to show our unity as a district. May's Wildcat character trait of the month is resilience. Student Council plans to inspire our school through these activities to be resilient and overcome mental health challenges. Student Council will spread awareness for Take Action Tuesdays with posters throughout the building, like the one on display on the theater auditorium. Sorry. One fact that sticks out to me from one of our information poster boards is that 50% of all lifetime mental illness begins at the age of 14. This highlights how necessary it is to support mental health needs in adolescents. Student Council is open to supporting all students' needs and bringing awareness to issues as they arise. This club is teaching us how to be student leaders and help each other as we grow. Thank you for your time.
thank you, Jake. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate the time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
They are a tough act to follow. That was tremendous. I have to tell you, I'm just thinking back. I wrote down notes. That was tremendous. It's really wonderful to see what's happening with the Student Council at the middle school. Colby, I think it was, right? Unity Day and everything that you presented, that was terrific. Cooper, I think Glenna Curry here might have a position in Treasury for you if you keep this up. That was tremendous. I like how you took the proceeds from the dance, and Brielle, it sounded like you turned them into games in the cafeteria for the kids to do. Well done. That is tremendous. I think it's Kiera. The I Love You Day, I think the whole community knew about it at Starbucks, so well done. It wasn't just here in the middle school. I think our whole community got behind it. The mental health, Jacob, mental health awareness, we completely agree. If you ask our school board, we continue to invest in our psychology programs, our mental health awareness, the Wildcats with Character program. What you're doing at the middle school is tremendous, and look forward to May and wearing green on Wednesdays. Well done, everyone. Thank you for presenting tonight. So I told you, I like this meeting tonight. This is great. Next up, we have more recognition. This is another exciting piece, our DECA recognition. We have Miss Melissa Cosgrove, our advisor and teacher, to come up to talk about the wonderful happenings at DECA and how they did this year. Thank you. Welcome, Ms. Cosgrove.
Thank you. So for those who don't know, DECA stands for Distributive Education Clubs of America. It's a business club. It's for students who are interested in pursuing business in college and who are students who are interested in business in high school. There are over 3,000 students that compete at the state competition. So when a student is recognized or a student wins, it's really an amazing accomplishment. This year we had 2 national qualifiers who go on to compete in Orlando at the end of the month. The first one is Kate Leonard, who won 2nd place in apparel and accessories marketing. And Ella Frazzetto, who won a spot in the Emerging Leaders Academy. She was one of only 11 students in the entire state to receive this recognition, so it's quite an honor. So congratulations to both of you. And yep, that's it. Look forward to next week. Yeah. Oh, come on up for a photo.
Come on up to be recognized. That's great.
Oh, I have to do a photo. Oh, okay. Yep, definitely. No problem.
Thanks again to our DECA awardees. Looking forward to seeing how you do in Orlando. Keep us posted. Next up will be on our agenda tonight, reports and reviews. I'd like to call up Mr. Alan Meinster, our Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to be presenting tonight, or introducing actually the presenters tonight for a presentation on financial literacy and digital literacy. These are programs that we have brought into our school recently, and it is through the work of our Director of STEM, Dr. Joseph Policelli, along with our teachers of financial literacy and digital literacy, Mrs. Cosgrove and Mr. Maureen Mancuso, that these programs have really just absolutely sparked to life and are going to become really central components of our program going forward. We are going to be able to leverage these to make sure that we're ensuring all of our students leave the district as prepared as ever to succeed in college, the workplace, and more importantly, just in their day-to-day, everyday lives. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Dr. Policelli, who will in turn introduce our program instructors.
Thank you, Mr. Meitzer, and good evening. I appreciate the chance to highlight a couple of our STEM programs that we've been talking with before. You don't want to hear it from me because thankfully I have the 2 teachers that are interact with the students every day. It is thanks to their initiative and their diligence their efforts that they brought both of these programs to success. So if I could ask Ms. Cosgrove to come and speak about our financial literacy, which the course is called Career and Financial Management, but it is our digital literacy program. And then afterwards, we have Mr. Mancuso to speak about our digital literacy, which is in its first year, which is 3/4 of the way through its first year. A huge success. Rob, thank you for your efforts, and I think it's your efforts and your initiative that has made that course a success. Ms. Cosgrove?
Change the slide? Oh, just arrow. Okay. Hello again. Career and Financial Management is a fantastic business class that encompasses career exploration and financial literacy. That's some of the students in my class. Some of the topics that we go over include career planning, career exploration, college and career readiness, identifying skills and abilities, then matching those skills and abilities with careers, the job search process, which includes networking, job applications, how to write a resume, how to write a business letter, how to create a cover letter, the interview skills, making a good first impression, dress for success, and then we kind of sum that up with a thank you letter, kind of like the last chance for the students to sell themselves. Once they get the job, we talk a little bit about workplace ethics, and then we start to build the career portfolio with getting our career-ready documents kind of in one spot and talk about a little bit about teamwork and leadership. The second component is financial literacy, which starts with behavioral finance, the influence of advertising, how to create a financial plan, setting goals, evaluating needs and wants, and then it introduces money management, which looks at checking accounts, investing, savings, financial institutions, financial markets, savings and investing, investing for retirement. Then we have a unit on credit, loans, FICO scores, how kids pay for college, getting a loan, and then insurance, protecting what you have, health insurance, auto insurance, and then taxes. They learn how to read a pay stub, what are the importance of income taxes, and then the last project they do is called Budgeting for Life, which is they put it all together and then they create a financial budget on their own. So all of these topics are essential, I feel, for life skills, and there are things the students will use for the rest of their lives. So I think it's a great class, and I'm really excited that it's going to be in the curriculum for everybody. And that's it. Yep. You're welcome.
Hello, everybody. So I just wanted to highlight our program that started as a way to meet the New York State computer science and computational thinking standards, and is starting to grow into something that I'm extremely proud of. The digital literacy class here was born out of those standards that were meant to teach students algorithmic thinking and prepare them for a digital world. And I have to say thank you to the district and everybody involved for putting their trust in me and putting this program forward. It's my hope that we can build this into a program that is not only just hitting the standards and making kids excited for this, but that we are going to be a program that everybody on the East End of Long Island and Suffolk looks to when they think of computer science. And that started already. I've had people reach out from Longwood, people from Huntington reach out and ask how we developed our program and asked to pick my brain on this because they were trying to present it to their district as well. They didn't want their students kind of stuck in taking AP Computer Science Principles as a mandatory course because it's not appropriate for every student. And they looked to us and heard from myself and heard from people around us at different conferences what we were doing, and we've caught a lot of attention there. So the program, it travels through computer science. It's kind of a long and winding journey, but it hits everything from computer science history all the way through actual programming. In the JavaScript language, we teach students about their own personal digital hygiene and cybersecurity, as well as cybersecurity on a larger scale and what that means for larger systems, school districts, companies, et cetera. If you look at some of the topics here, it's almost an introduction into that computer science principles course, where we not only focus on the programming and algorithmic thinking, but we also take a look at networks and how the internet works. We look at the accessibility guidelines for websites and what companies have to keep in mind when they are designing their websites. We take a look at cryptography and how that relates to cybersecurity, and what's becoming one of my favorite units that we are just finishing up right now are modern topics and issues in computer science. That's going to be a unit that grows with time and is prescient to the world around us. If I can go back to this slide, this is actually just a clip from one of our collaborations with the library here with Ms. Hanson. They were kind enough to have us in for a couple of days to teach annotation skills. This unit is built around a Socratic seminar at the end of it, where the students have a discussion about a modern topic in computer science. At this point, it was the now delayed, but was upcoming ban on TikTok. It's something the students were very invested in. So what we were able to do was Ms. Hanson pulled a few articles for us. We read through them, we annotated them. I collaborated with some of the English teachers to learn what the annotation skills they were using in their classes were so that we could keep it consistent across the curriculum. And then we brought the students to the library. They annotated the articles. We did a few days of really digging into it. And then the students were, they used the School AI program that we use here to simulate a Socratic seminar so that they had someone to bounce ideas off of. They didn't feel intimidated by speaking in front of a group. They were able to have that conversation at their computer. And then they broke out into smaller groups to practice, and then today was our first day with it. And I have to say, from the beginning, coming from a math background, I wasn't entirely sure how this was going to work. I thought I had some really lofty ideas, but maybe that was just me being kind of corny, thinking this would be a great idea for kids because it's TikTok and they'd be invested. But just the level of critical thinking that I saw from the students was unbelievable. One of the classes today, I presented the idea and kind of took a step back, and they took the reins, and for the entire class, all I had to do was keep track of participation and points. They were respectful to each other. They had differing opinions, but they were always polite and respectful, and they were able to get to a point where they realized that we weren't going to get an answer to this, but that the topic was more complex than, oh, I like to have this app on my phone. That there are national security concerns and freedom of speech concerns, and they worked this out from the articles, bringing all of their comments were fact-based and evidence-based from the articles. I was floored, which I think is also a testament to the rest of the programs here that teach the students how to dig into articles and interact with text in such a way. So on the screen, you can see a couple of student examples of the programming, just the introduction to JavaScript on the left there, and then their websites that they were designing through Canva on the right, while making sure that they adhered to the web content accessibility guidelines. Artificial intelligence doesn't have necessarily a spotlight in this presentation because it's woven throughout the curriculum from Unit 1 through Unit 10. The students are learning how to use it ethically and how to use it in a way that's going to enhance their experience in school. And when they step out of school, they're going to be ahead of some of their peers because they know how to use it to help them study how to draft an email, but how to actually take ownership of all of the work that is going into the program as well. That's our biggest stress when we start that, is that we come with our original ideas and our original product, and we own any of the information that's going in or coming out of it. And lastly, our unit that we are stepping into, I'm very excited for, is going to be a career exploration. We are going to be spending the majority of the fourth quarter, whether it is exploring on our own or having guest speakers into the classroom. We have a team coming in from Cisco. In the beginning of May, we are going to be speaking with our IT team here, who they do unbelievable work in terms of both cybersecurity and keeping our data safe, as well as their network management, and the amount of redundancies that they have built in is pretty incredible. So we have different professionals coming in to speak with us about what do the career paths look like that take us through a college education, and what do the career paths look like that don't require one, where they can get industry-ready certifications out of high school and kind of hit the ground running. So I'm really excited for what this can grow into, and thank you guys for putting your trust in me. I appreciate it.
So just as a follow-up to all of that, and first of all, you could just see how with two such incredibly dynamic teachers running the two courses that we just had a chance to talk about, you can see just how much energy that brings to the program and to the kids and to the work that's being done. To emphasize the importance that we have placed here as a district on digital literacy and financial literacy, part of the agenda tonight includes a first reading of a updated policy for graduation that is designed to incorporate into our program and our graduation requirements the completion of each of these courses by our students at some point during their high school career, with most of the emphasis being having these courses as their first year course as ninth graders here at the high school. So just wanted to let everybody know that that's going to be part of what we're talking about a little bit later on, and is really just a testament to all the work that's been going on. And if there's any questions, I would be happy to take them now, but otherwise just thank you guys, and really you cannot know how much of an impact you guys are having with the two programs that you guys are doing, and it's so deeply appreciated.
Great to see you both. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. So tremendous. I think we all are very excited about the both digital literacy and financial literacy. Great. All right. So where do I want to go next? Okay. So, budget time. So, Mr. Arcuri, 2025-2026 budget presentation with Mr. Glenn Arcuri, our Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Operations. What? This is record turnout, Mr. Arcuri. Record turnout, right? Record turnout. Standing room only. Got that, thanks, Ricky. Yep.
I will pay. That's 6 people. You're going to leave just for that, right? I'm waiting for these guys. Good evening. Tonight, we will be covering the 2025-26 revenue budget, as well as the expenditure budget overview. A state aid update. Typically, New York State adopts their budget by April 1st. However, the April 1st deadline was missed. On March 30th, the governor passed legislation keeping the government funded through April 3rd. Then on April 3rd, they further extended it to April 7th. And then on April 7th, they extended it again through April 9th. So as of today, there isn't a budget adopted by the state. So the state aid figures we are presenting this evening and that we have presented up until this point have been based on the executive state aid runs provided January 2025. Again, a little bit of history. Our 6-year average expenditure budget has been 2.80%. If we subtract the one-time transfer to capital item that was in the 24-25 budget, our 6-year average is 2.47, and our tax levy increase has been 1.75% over the past 6 years. It is important to note the consumer price index has been about 3% minimum over this 6-year average. So we are continually operating with a lower year-to-year expenditure increase based compared to what the annual expenditures are actually increasing by. A little bit about the federal grants. Still in the news is the concern that the federal funding that the district receives could be in jeopardy. Nothing we have been told to date makes us assume that we aren't going to receive at least some portion of federal funding inside of 25-26. However, it is still just important to note if something changes, majority of the programs that our federal grant dollars purchase are programs, salaries that we actually need. So if the federal funds were to be eliminated, we would have to find covering funds inside of the 25-26 budget. Again, the 25-26 budget aligns closely to our strategic plan pillars: communication with stakeholders, health, safe, and engaging learning spaces, maintain high-quality programming, enhance student graduation outcomes, and maintain whole child programming. The budget maintains all programs, maintains current class size, includes funding for additional field trips and co-curricular activities, technology conferences, software subscriptions, funding to replace 12 interactive smart boards, add up to 6 contracted armed security guards, cover the increase in contract transportation costs, which is $1,247,567, reflects the reduction of contingent funds and, where prudent, reduce budget codes to align closer to actual expenditure amounts and or reduce margin inside of those budget codes. It increases the use of appropriated fund balance, increases the amount of debt service funds that is being applied as part of the revenue budget, and as in years past, funds within the Teachers' Retirement Reserve have been applied to the 25-26 revenue budget. Proposed budget reflects a 1.29% increase, or a dollar increase of $1,140,611. We covered the categories in the past 3 budget development meetings. It is important to note the transportation category reflects the first year increase related to a 5-year transportation contract award. Any questions on any of the categories that we previously discussed at previous meetings? Great. Looking at the budget in 3-part form, the administrative component reflects an increase of a little less than $1.4 million. It is important to note that the 3 component categories are given to us by the State Comptroller's Office. Each budget code is assigned a specific component category. So the fact that you see an administrative increase at that value, security personnel is part of that value. So adding additional contracted security features, adding additional cameras, adding additional security software are all going to be reflected in that administrative component. If there are specific equipment purchases related to the administrative component, they will be reflected there. The standard staff that has been in previous years' budgets that are tied to the administrative component are part of this category, but there hasn't been any additional staffing added to the administrative component. So the increases in this category are directly related to contractual increases for previous items included in the administrative component, and also the additional security features that we are planning for in 25-26. As for the capital component, the large decrease that you see there relates to the transfer to capital fund budget line that was included in the 24-25 budget, a little bit more than $1.6 million that was funded by a separate revenue source of the tax reduction reserve. That was removed from the 25-26 budget, so that accounts for that large decrease. And as for program, that is anything related to the students, whether it's teachers, support staff, textbooks, technology needs, anything related directly to students is part of the program component. The sum of all is that 1.29% increase. Any questions on the three-part budget? Unfortunately, tonight we just have to touch base on what if the voters do not support the budget in May. The Board of Education has the option to put up the same budget or a modified budget as part of a June vote. And if by chance there's still not voter support for the June budget, the district would then be required to adopt a contingent budget. A contingent budget will always be less than the proposed budget. For the district to be considered tax levy compliant under a contingent budget, the tax levy would need to remain at the 24-25 level, which is a reduction of $1,153,302 that we currently have for the 25-26 tax levy limit increase. All organizations under a contingent budget, even not-for-profit organizations, are required to pay facilities use fees. There would be no option for the Board of Education to waive those fees under a contingent budget. The contingent budget must adhere to the administrative cap requirement. What that cap requirement is the administrative component of the budget is not allowed to increase greater than the program component of the budget. So what that requires when you're developing the contingent budget, you cannot, in a sense, be punitive because the voters do not support the budget, just take away student programs. You are first required to meet the administrative cap reductions, and then after that, you then could take away additional programs. So under a contingent budget, as of today, the contingent budget would be $87,903,788. The required contingent budget reduction for equipment would be $544,000. There is not a transfer to capital fund budget line in the budget, so there is no reduction there. The administrative cap requirement would be approximately $875,994. And in order to balance the budget, the revenue portion of the budget would need to be reduced a little less than $267,000. If for some reason the May budget is is not supported, we dive a lot deeper then right after that budget, right after the May 20th budget vote, into how do we want to develop the plan for either a June vote or what does a contingent budget look like. We typically, historically, have stopped at this point in providing details. Any questions on the contingent budget? The revenue budget, as I mentioned earlier, to date, the district has used state aid that was provided in the executive run on January 21st of $16,683,240. If the state does not adopt their budget before our April 23rd Board of Education meeting, then the district would have to use, I shouldn't say have to, the district would typically use the value provided to us as part of the executive budget. We actually had to do this for the 24-25 budget. So this isn't something that we haven't done before. And typically, from what we've heard to date, the governor hasn't given any indication to us that there will be great changes as part of the adopted budget when it comes to school aid. Typically, what we're reading inside of the news currently is there are other items that are holding up the budget adoption that don't have to do with school aid. So I don't feel there's great exposure with what we know today from what they've shared if we do have to adopt the budget using the executive value.
Glenn, what was the difference in 24-25?
About $187,000. State aid breakdown. Looking at state aid from 24-25 to 25-26 executive budget reflects a $203,000 decrease. There is an increase in foundation aid. There's a decrease in expense-driven high-cost excess aid, a decrease in private excess cost aid, an increase in BOCES aid, slight decrease in hardware and technology, again an expense-driven aid, software and library textbook, again an expense-driven aid, transportation, again an expense-driven aid, and building aid. There were a couple of projects that have fallen off the books, meaning the payback period has ended, so there's a decrease in building aid. As for pilot and other local revenue, the pilot payments reflect a increase of 1.35% or $43,000. Adult education, tuition, and community programs reflect a slight increase. Day school tuition. Day school tuition, we try to do our best to estimate how many students are we going to accept on a tuition basis into our special education program. Since annual reviews are not finished in time for districts to commit to send their students to us, we try to do our best to come up with what is the most conservative but realistic value. So this year we are budgeting for about eight students, two additional students than we did the previous year. So we continually try to tie this value so that we don't, at the end of the school year, reflect a very large additional amount of revenue, but it's also hard to budget for 12 students, and then if we only get 10, now we are already inside of the red when it comes to anticipated revenue. That same philosophy is used for interest. This year, we are definitely on the positive side when it comes to interest. Our interest revenue exceeds $200,000 for 24-25. But if you look at February of 24, when we were trying to develop the budget, we were adopting the budget, we didn't know what the interest rates were going to be for that year. So there's always that challenge. So when it comes to revenue, you under budget revenue, and continually hope for good fortune that we're going to receive additional revenue. As for rental and use of facilities, stays the same as previous years. We usually come in on or about that value. Miscellaneous revenue typically come in on or about that value. And student fees is a new revenue category for 24-25. We are required now in 24-25 as part of the expenditure budget to include the parent cost when they accompany students, or the student cost that the parents pay for our students to attend field trips. So we budgeted on the expense side, and then we budgeted offsetting revenue on the revenue side. As for 24-25, it was the first year that we did that, and there was a portion of revenue related to a specific field trip that we double booked. We booked the transportation, both in the transportation side as well as the cost side of the curriculum component. So we adjusted it for 25-26. So there is not a loss of a field trip. This is correcting a accounting error that budgeting error that we did in 24-25. Any questions on the other local revenue and or pilot payments?
Just on the interest and earnings again, the 70,000, I think you were saying, was it 200,000?
Correct. We actually, for 24-25, we actually are earning right now about $200,000 in interest for 24-25 school year, even though we budgeted $70,000. So that additional revenue will be reflective of fund balance. It is revenue above what we budgeted.
Thank you.
Yep. District reserves, this was presented back in February, but it's important to just bring it up again as part of the revenue process. Balance in our reserve accounts as of June 30th, 2024, how much was applied to the 24-25 revenue budget, and how much we anticipate using in the 25-26 revenue budget. So looking at the use of reserves there, let's just say that if the governor adopts the budget before April 23rd, and it turns out we get an additional $150,000 in state aid, there's really a good chance that we're going to reduce the application of the Teachers Retirement System reserve, since that isn't a reserve that was used in the previous year. We would actually reduce that in order to retain those funds so that we could have them available to us in future years. The tax levy limit calculation, again, to date, we continue to use the building aid value that was part of the executive budget, January of 25. We are not looking to pierce. It's a 50% plus one. All pilot payments that are finalized are factored into the levy limit calculation. There is not a pilot agreement finalized yet for the proposed battery storage facility. So that pilot payment anticipated value has not been factored in to our calculation. And all debt service payments related to the outstanding debt service for the bond, payments related to the energy performance contract have been included inside of our levy limit calculation. Our tax levy limit, 1.9571%, an increase of $1,153,302. As I mentioned earlier, if we were to see a contingent budget, that would be the value that has to go back to 24-25. It would remain at zero. There will be no increase. If the governor adopts the budget on or before the allowable window for us to revise our tax levy limit to the state, we would revise the tax levy limit value based on if there's any change related to building aid. Revenue budget, the tax levy makes up a little more than 67% of our total revenue budget. State aid makes up a little less than 19%. Again, that's the executive run value. Other local revenue makes up 4.82%. The appropriated fund balance makes up 6.53%. The tax reduction reserve, again, that was the value related to that transfer to capital fund budget line in the 24-25 budget. So that revenue has been removed from the 25-26 budget. Employee retirement system, use of that reserve makes up 1.12% of the revenue budget. Teachers retirement system, 0.63%. Unemployment reserve, 0.12%. Workers' compensation, 0.62%. And the debt service fund, 0.22%. Any questions on any of the components of the revenue budget? Looking at our budget as a whole, you see that expenses are 1.29%. Revenue is 1.95 for the levy, reduction in state aid. But you see an increased dependency on one-time revenue related to appropriated fund balance. I was asked earlier today about our increases in expenses outpacing the increased amount for revenue. The question is yes, especially when it came to the transportation RFP results. The increase related to just that one expenditure category alone had an increase that well outpaced any chance that the district has of a recurring revenue, because the increase in transportation costs alone is greater than our tax levy increase for 25-26. Any questions on the budget summary as a whole? Because the next time we come to talk about the budget, the board actually adopts the budget at the April 23rd meeting. Hopefully, they say yes. Great. We will look at the remaining dates. April 16th, the budget gets presented at the Shoreham Civic Association meeting. April 23rd, presented at the Public Board of Education meeting. April 24th, Wading River Civic Association meeting. May 6th is a budget hearing. May 12th, the budget is presented at PTA, PTO, and SEPTA meeting. It is a joint meeting here at the high school. And the budget vote is May 20th, 2025 in the high school gym. Moving on to Proposition 2, we are asking the voters for approval to spend funds that are already in the 2021 capital reserve. May of 21, the voters were asked to allow the district to create a reserve account to set money aside to do future capital projects, assuming the voters support that request to spend those monies. Here is the proposition requesting permission to spend those funds. If the voters support this proposition, there is no effect on the district tax levy. The total cost of $6,879,501 would come from money the district already has in the 2021 Capital Reserve Fund. The work listed below may be eligible for building aid. Our current building aid percentage is a little less than 36%. It is important to note that during the October, November, and December space and facilities meetings, there were a number of potential capital projects presented. The projects that were presented were a culmination of, some came from the Building Condition Survey report that was previously completed for the district. Some were projects that rolled over from the previous year's Space and Facilities Committee lists. Some were projects related to administration suggestions. Some came from the community suggestions. So the Space and Facilities Committee had the opportunity to see many different projects, and the architect firm provided preliminary projected cost estimates in order to complete this work. So by the time we got to our November meeting, the committee saw approximately $40 million worth of projects. And based on priority, based on need, based on available funds, the committee worked to narrow that list of projects down to what they felt based on the input of the administration, based on facilities, based on the architect, based on committee members, what they felt would be in the best interest of the district. So as they had to develop that list, what also comes into play is what is the useful life for some of these items? So when you're looking at original windows to the Wading River building, some of them are already past their useful life. So that was pretty easy to narrow down to say windows should be done before casework that was at Miller Avenue that just did not look as good as we would want it to look, but it is still functional. When it came to the Kootenella field, turf fields have a 10 to 12-year useful life. That is a statistic that is known. It isn't a statistic that I personally did not come up with, your architect not personally come up with. The manufacturer of the turf comes up with what is the useful life. So when we presented this project to say we need to identify funding, the turf field right now is in its 10th summer. If the voters support this project, the funds will be earmarked as of May 20th, 2025. During the design process of the field, you will have to design a full set of plans. The architect completes that work probably on or about September, October, because the architect, even though the voters could approve it in May, the architectural firms for school districts are working on this summer's work. They're doing the summer work for 25. That's where their focus is. Even though we might get funding May of 25, their focus is, great, Glenn, we're going to draw that for you starting September 1st. We're going to be really focusing on your projects, your $4 million worth of work you're doing this summer of 25, as opposed to focusing on your next summer's work or the summer's work after that. So after they develop the project, draw up the plans, we typically will submit them October, November to the state. The state could, from an approval standpoint, it could take 4 months to as long as 10 months. We have seen, based on their staffing levels at the state, the duration of time for us to receive approval to do the project. Best case scenario, we receive approval to do the project March or April. Then we go out to bid in order to obtain a vendor in order to complete this work. So there's timing that the district has to take into consideration as we discuss with the Space and Facilities Committee. I can't shut down the Wading River building for an entire summer, the middle school for an entire summer, inside of a Miller Avenue building for the entire summer. We have summer programs. So we do pick and choose what projects we're going to do based on the building availability, the impact on the building usage. So when it came to picking out the middle school classrooms, for that particular building, the casework we are proposing to change is, again, original to the building. Now, those classrooms do not typically get used over the summer, but there's a good chance I have to take the Wading, if I close the Wading River building down for summer of 26 to do windows, Miller Avenue is used for the BOCES program, I have to shift what's in Wading River to the middle school. Or maybe do part at Wading River, part at the middle school. Again, depending upon drawing out that project, that's going to be a larger project in order to draw out. There will be more stakeholders to be part of designing those spaces, picking out the end use for the casework to say, what do we need, what is it need. We will do our best to submit that project around December, and then get state approval for it. Hopefully go out to bid, and hopefully complete that project summer of '26. Could that project push into summer of '27? Depending upon the complications of designing it, it's possible. We hope it doesn't, but the flip side of it is we might receive state approval for it and then determine, for the district's best interest, secure the contractor, complete that work the summer of '27, because we want to shift the Wading River summer programs into that middle school. So the time frame for all of this work goes into how we also pick the projects with the Space and Facilities Committee members. Any questions on the selection process for the projects for the capital reserve? It's very hard presenting to the back of everyone. Just want everyone to know that. I can't read any faces up there tonight.
I just wanted to comment that you don't leave us with any questions, but you did address very thoroughly a concern that is circulating throughout the community, that we're proposing the replacement of turf before it's needed, and I just thank you for the explanation of why that's included in this proposition.
Okay, you're welcome. I didn't know that there's community concern, but thank you. So the ballot language that pertains to Proposition 2, shall the Board of Education of the Shoreham-Wading River Central School District be authorized to expend funds already deposited in the 2021 Capital Reserve Fund, which was established on May 18, 2021, known as the Reserve Fund, pursuant to Education Law 3651, for the following capital improvement projects: replacement of classroom ceiling, lighting, casework replacement at the Miller Avenue School, exterior window and door replacement at the Wading River School, casework, ceiling, lighting, plumbing and electrical renovations, flooring and equipment replacement, and HVAC modifications at the Prodell Middle School, site construction at the district athletic fields, replace synthetic turf, drainage improvements, structural respray of track event surfaces and striping, and install perimeter drainage between track and field at the high school's Kootenella Field, district-wide technology purchase, replacement, and improvements, and any ancillary or related work required in connection with such projects, and to expend from the reserve fund, therefore, including preliminary costs and costs incidental thereto, in any amount not to exceed the estimated total of $6,879,501, provided that the Board of Education shall determine the allocation of cost for each project within said maximum amount. Now that last sentence there is a very important piece to say, we have a great plan today. We have a great plan, a great list of projects. They were derived at in a very open forum. However, when we go to bid these jobs, if prices go up, we might complete a little less. If prices go down, we might complete a little bit more. Maybe there's 2 other classrooms of casework that are part of the middle school. The proposition ballot language gives the Board of Education that final say in how do they want to prioritize the timing, what do they want to do with the excess funds, do they want to do additional casework at the Miller Avenue building, do they want to do additional casework at the middle school. There is clear authority for the Board of Education to determine the allocation of cost related to each project. However, you cannot spend more than $6,879,501. Quickly go through the project detail. Classroom ceiling lighting replacement at Miller Avenue. I will say it now, this project will be our last one, because relocating the BOE summer program that is hosted here in the district The program runs great at the Miller Avenue building. It is the perfect building for the program. So I want to do this when I have Wading River windows done, when the Wading River building's finished, so we could move them to that particular building. You can see some of the old classroom ceilings, old classroom lighting, the Wading River building. The windows here that are in the pictures, you see the white aluminum frames. They look just like old white aluminum homeowner windows. That's what they put inside of the Wading River extension when they built it back in the 70s. So they are residential windows inside of a commercial building. Windows are tough to close. They don't all lock correctly. However, it's critical to know the emergency windows are all operational in every classroom. Some deterioration around the frames, not uncommon for original frames. The frames that you're looking at here are down on the ground. So after years and years of waxing the floors and mopping the floors, they are going to deteriorate. It isn't because of lack of care or maintenance, it's purely because of age. Middle school, renovate casework, replacement inside the science rooms and the RISE classroom. Current instructional space are original to the building. The proposed project will match similar spaces previously renovated. You can see the original casework. I think Mr. Poole called it from the Brady Bunch era on the 25th. The pictures on the right are science classrooms that were renovated summer of 2010. And every time I see these spaces, I say how proud I am to work inside of a district where both the staff and students take so much pride inside of their instructional spaces, because they look like the day they were installed, the summer of 2010. The RISE classroom pictures on the right are of the high school in order to provide a little bit of understanding as to what we're looking to try to achieve in the middle school. Replacement of the synthetic field. Again, this is replacing the turf, the synthetic field that is on our Kootenella field. This is not to build a new field. This is to change the green, grass-looking substance inside of that picture. IT project, as with any IT project, it would not be logical to try to do this entire project in one school year. The purpose of taking the money after the voters approve it, assuming that they do, we take the money out of a capital reserve fund, we then put it to a capital fund. Both funds are generating interest. The only thing the voters are doing May 20th, 2025, if they support this proposition, is allowing the district to know we have approved this dollar value for you to do the work that you need to do. Now, please develop a reasonable implementation plan over the next 2 to 3 years to responsibly roll out this additional technology and time it with the expiration or the end of life on the existing technology pieces. So if we are able to get another year out of our battery replacement, our UPS devices, we're going to do that for, if there's 60 of them inside the district and I only have to replace 30, they're going to replace 30, and then the following year they're going to replace the next 30. So that based on our staffing levels, based on the impact to the program, the impact to the district, the money will still gain interest. The money is just earmarked specifically for technology so that the district could properly plan for a rollout of implementing all of these technology items. Any questions on Proposition 2? Great. Proposition 3, we are asking the voters to support establishing a capital reserve known as the 2025 Capital Reserve. If the voters support this proposition, there is no cost to the voters to establish this. The district needs voter support to establish it, as well as voter support to spend from it. Establishing a capital reserve does not impact the tax levy in any way. The purpose of this reserve is to put money aside to complete future capital work if the voters approve the spending at that time. Funds in this reserve earn interest, assuming interest is available. Establishing this reserve and funding this reserve before the work is needed would ensure there is no impact on the operating budget or the tax levy. The maximum amount of this reserve is $7.5 million. Probable term is 10 years. Funding this reserve could come from budgetary appropriations, unappropriated fund balance from the general fund as authorized by the Board of Education, and transfers from other reserves as authorized by law. The ballot language: shall the Board of Education of the Shoreham-Wading River Central School District be authorized to establish a capital reserve fund pursuant to Section 3651 of the New York Education Law to be known as the Shoreham-Wading River Central School District 2025 Capital Reserve Fund for a probable term of 10 years in an ultimate amount of $7,500,000 plus accrued interest, whose purpose shall be to fund in whole or in part capital improvements to the facilities of the district, including but not limited to reconstruction and renovation of facilities, site security enhancements, site work including concrete, asphalt and paving, Americans with Disability Act features, athletic fields, bleachers, auditoriums, ceilings, computers, technology systems, networks, sidewalks, curbing, driveways, doors, windows, mechanical and electrical system upgrades, energy management systems, exterior and interior lighting, fencing, flooring, heating, ventilation, air conditioning system, irrigation systems, locker rooms, gymnasiums, masonry, plumbing, and sanitary systems, roofs, safety and security systems, toilet rooms, walls, the purchasing of furnishings and equipment, including all related costs, ancillary and related work, with such funds to be obtained from budgetary appropriations, transfers of unappropriated fund balances from the general fund as authorized from time to time by the Board of Education, amounts from certain other reserve funds as authorized by law, and interest accrued on such funds over the term of the Capital Reserve Fund. Any question on Proposition 3? All budget information from previous presentations or previous years can be found on the district website under the Parent and Guardians section. And there's many other items related to the district's business office, whether it's independent external audit reports, internal audit reports, district reserve balances, New York State school funding transparency reports, New York State Comptroller's report. That could be found under departments and programs under the business office section. Thank you. If there's no other questions. You're welcome.
And the lights are back.
Sure, are you here?
Okay, so next up are votes and resolutions. May I get a motion for the approval of our March 25th, 2025 regular public meeting minutes? Motion, Katie, second, Henry. All in favor? 7-0. Okay. Next up is our approval of our policies, first reading. Are we doing Ms. Purchase on this one, right? Yeah.
Yes, hi. The Shoreham-Wading River Administration meets frequently to review policies. The following policies are recommended for a first reading on April 8th, 2025. 1120R, School District Records. This regulation is required by New York State for adoption and was recommended for adoption with NYSBA language. 1500, Use of School Facilities. This policy was recommended for review and adjustments were made to the fee schedule. Committee changed facility rates for Class 3 and Class 4, which are non-SWR use and for-profit clubs and organizations. 2245, ex officio student member of the board. This is a new policy recommended by New York State for adoption. NYSBA language was clarified by the committee regarding ex officio students' eligibility and requirements. 4770, graduation requirements. Policy was recommended for review and adjustments were made to add in new requirements for graduation. Language was added in under additional course requirements for graduation requiring half a credit in digital literacy and half a credit in financial literacy. 8113, extreme heat conditions. This is a new policy recommended by New York State for adoption. Language was already revised by NYSBA and committee clarified language for adoption.
Thank you, Ms. Kirschus. May I get a motion, please? Katie, second, Megan. Any discussion or questions on these first reads policies? Okay, all in favor? 7-0. Next up will be our resolutions. First up is human resources. We have one of these. 2425193, approval of a non-aligned employment agreement. May I get a motion, please? Katie, second, Jim Smith. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? 7-0. Next up are business and operations. There are 6 in this section. I'd like to take them as a block. Is that all right? It goes from 2425194 through 2425199. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Can I get a motion, please? I've got Katie and Jim L. Lockhart. Any discussion or questions on these?
I just have a question.
Yep, go ahead, Jim. Mike.
For resolution 196.
196, yes. Blacks out cancer?
Yeah, if there are school games that day, what is the?
So May 10th,
Yeah.
Mr. Poole. Yeah.
There's a fee, I guess, associated with it. I know we're waiving the fee, but if the games are already scheduled for section 11, there should be no, right? There's no additional security for the event if we have games? Is that?
I'm sorry, you're
He's saying, are there any games, what would happen on May 10th?
so for any, typically, now this is a large event, so it's going to be a little more challenging than normal, but typically if an organization books a field and there's a need for a district program, they're notified that they could get bumped. But for Laxav Cancer, it's a huge event, so I have to follow up with you, and I'm not aware that there's a section game. I'd like to think that this doesn't coincide with the section 11 game on that day, but I'd have to double check on that if it does.
Mr. Lewis, do you know what game, baseball are you referring to?
No, there are
No, this
4
would be
lacrosse
the-
orders.
Oh.
2
Yeah.
JV, 2 varsity.
This would be the, Kootenai Field.
They're all section events? So the section games are part of the Laxav Cancer event?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's good to know.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think the request was to like be able, at 8 a.m. to start setting up a DJ or something, like in the area. For the
Yes,
event.
yes, we will have the support there.
Not actually for like the
Yes.
field use.
Oh, okay, I thought it was field use you guys were asking about. So, remind me then, what is the question, Jim? Is the question, Is
No,
the
I was
field
just
available?
clarifying.
Oh, okay.
It just says that the request was for the field, if there are games. I guess there's no clarity on what they're actually requesting, since the school is already operating the games that day.
So we'll have chaperones and security there for those
I
games
see what you're
already.
saying. I got you.
Yes,
Right.
and we'll have security there, custodians, so the place will be opened up for the games already?
I see what you're saying, Mike, because at the end of the day, that we're using the facility for our games anyway. So lights out cancer.
Listen,
Yeah,
it's on here, it's great, it's being approved. I was just curious, in the future, is there a necessity for, let's say parent organization want to sell sweatshirts, I know they do that often. Do we have to have a facility request to set up a table to sell sweatshirts?
That's a good question.
Just want to get some clarity, because I know a lot of times, a lot of these organizations wait for this to get approved tonight before they, send out notifications to the public.
The town and government. So the two things often work together, facilities use and then the fundraising application through my office.
Right, so
along the way.
fundraising can't can't go out to the public. until it's
So
approved.
that would be, that would be a policy review, because you're right, it would free things up for the organization if it was just fundraising. They wouldn't have to wait to a board meeting for the approval.
For the
If it was
approval of the field
If it was
use,
just
yeah.
a fundraising approval, they can get that in.
That's a good point. That's actually a good point, Mike. So they could send in a fundraising application as opposed to waiting for field.
Not waiting for a,
Because the field's gonna
There's
get
no
used
field,
anyway.
right?
There's no
They're
field
not really
involved.
using the field.
They're not using the field, they're
Yes.
using the day to sit, right, I got it. Oh, that's a good point. All right. I think for tonight, we'll take this, because it's already filled out and completed, right, Jerry, I assume?
Yes.
For the district use, okay, all right. Okay, very good. Any other questions on this section? Okay. Did I take a motion? I forgot if I did.
Yeah.
I did, okay, thank you. Any discussion or questions?
No.
All in favor? 7-0. I did want to remind the community that as part of that section we just approved, 2425197, was our approval tonight to issue a request for proposal for armed guard services for the district as we have budgeted for. Okay. Next up, I have our personnel. May I get a motion, please? Jim Smith, Jim Lockhart. Any discussion or questions on personnel? All in favor? Oh, Henry, you have something?
Yeah, and I know we're going to vote on Mr. Tom Ward's resignation.
Oh,
And
Your
I wanted to
retirement? Your
thank him.
retirement?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank him for all the years.
Good point.
Sorry, Glenn?
No, I said that's a good point.
would vote it down.
Yeah, we won't mind it.
Oh,
Yeah, we
oh,
want
you
that.
want
We
us to
also
vote
vote
it down.
Tom, we'd
Can
be
we
very
say-
happy,
Can I
yeah.
accept
If you vote that one down, I'll be very happy.
Oh,
we
okay.
abstain?
Well, I wanted to thank him for all the years of service and dedication, and he really, I'm on the board, but I know everything that he's been doing over the years, and he's going to be sorely missed. I know you all feel the same, but I just wanted to mention him, and, I was very happy to see him receive the Scope Award. I know some of the board members attended that award, and that was well deserved. So I just gonna miss you.
Yeah, very good, thank you, Mr. Perez, I appreciate that. And the good news is we get to celebrate our retirees in June, right, I believe, Mr. Poole, right?
He will definitely be here.
Hopefully, Mr. Ward
yeah.
will accept our invite to come and attend and celebrate all these years and thank him for his service. Very good call out. Okay, I took motions. All in favor on this? 7-0. And I did want to say congratulations. We approved a new soccer coach tonight, Mr. Donnie Braga. I think he's in the audience. Welcome to the school district. So I'm sure you saw maybe the earlier presentations on how well our sports do. We can't wait to see your successes up here as well. No pressure, just kidding.
Especially next year.
Especially next year, you heard it. So thanks, welcome aboard. We look forward to seeing how you do. Great stuff. Okay, what else do I have next? Any communications, Ms. Kirschus?
No, not for tonight.
Okay, great. Any other general discussion from the board?
Can I just ask a quick question about?
Of course.
So we talked a little bit about the policy around field use.
Yes.
When we want to discuss other policy modifications or changes, is that something that comes from a board, like a community member asks or a board member asks? How does that process?
Yeah, I think that was a really good question. I did have some time to research it. I don't know if you had a chance. I sent out something preliminary. I went to New York State School Board Association. I wanted to ask, what is the typical process? Because typically, if you remember, our policy-driven manual that I know a lot of us worked on as a school board is usually driven based on just going back through, reading and, ensuring the policy is still relevant to the school district. And then there's ones that, because of law, have to be updated because of law changes. What I read most recently about this is, if we as a board, if you as a board member want to come forward and say, you know what, I think this policy needs to be looked at, it's a recommendation to the superintendent, Mr. Poole, correct me if I'm wrong, and we would then serve it up to the policy review committee. The policy committee is made up of a few of us, as you know, and obviously whatever you would like to, whatever the question or issue might be, then as a board, we would review it, right? The same way we just did tonight with the first policy read, or the committee would look at it, maybe make some edit changes, or maybe not do anything with it, Jim. But I think that's the right thing to do. Mr. Poole, do you have anything to add, or?
Yeah, no, I think well said.
Okay,
It's
cool.
a good process.
That's great. Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
I think, Jim, the ones that you identified, I think we should probably have you put a note, and let's have the policy committee put those up for review then.
Okay,
I think
thanks.
that's the next best step, right?
Mhm.
Okay, great.
That's great.
Thank you for doing that, Jim, too, by the way. Okay, good. Any other discussion from board members? Tonight was a great night. I will say, it's so nice to see the accomplishments of our school district students, our faculty, our teachers, and obviously our administrators. So nice to hear from so many.
Yeah, Tom, I just wanted to say again that I'm really excited about those new curriculum courses that we're offering. I know it's been a long-term discussion with Mr. Meister and Mr. Poole to roll those out. I think they're done really well, and I'm just excited for the opportunity for our kids.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I'm a big fan.
I also wanted to just mention that in a professional capacity, I had the opportunity to go to the Lilac Conference, of which Mrs. Walbauer is a president, and where Mr. Poole gave a keynote address. And I just, from the other side of it, as an educator, was so impressed by the work that you do. I know for many, many years, and it was just wonderful to see how many of our Shoreham-Wading River teachers were there in attendance, not only as participants, but also as presenters, and they just did a phenomenal job. Really, really impressed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. That was great. And I would love to hear your keynote address, Mr. Poole.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, you have it? I'm sure the board will kill me now. But.
And for anyone who might not know, having Mrs. Walbauer for many years as a leader in the literary community has not only benefited the many schools throughout Long Island, but also has provided our own district with many advantages and access to authors and different research and opportunities just for that we get the extra close access to. So I appreciate your efforts and your volunteerism on that in that organization. It's a tremendous asset.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for that calling out.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Ms. Walbauer. Appreciate that very much. Good, great to see. All right, thank you for that, Ms. Hanson. Anything else? Anyone else? Okay. All right. Any other additional comments from residents, Ms. Curtis?
No.
Okay. All right. May I get a motion to adjourn and enter executive session, and it is for personal matter related to a particular person or persons or corporation, the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, or dismissal or approval of a particular person or corporation. May I get a motion? Henry, second Katie. All in favor? 7-0. See you at the next exec session. Have a great night.